Hi guys! So this week we'll be talking about our top 10 TV shows. This is actually quite a difficult one for me. Although I'm really certain what my favourites are, and I know which ones I really go back and watch again and again, there are some which I was less sure about. I'm the sort of person who gets really into a show and then can obsessively watch it and then kind of think, not that I don't like it or anything, it's just I'm not in the moment anymore of making sure I watch several episodes a day. So it's been kind of hard looking back and thinking, can I call this a top 10 TV show, even though I've not watched it enough times yet? My top 5 are rated, but the bottom 5 are sort of in an order, but it's not necessarily the order in which I rate them. Number 10, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I loved this show as a kid and growing up, and I would happily watch it all the time now as well. I really liked the kind of witches that they were, and that you used a finger and pointed and it would all happen. To be honest, I wanted more to be a witch like Sabrina rather than a witch like in Hogwarts, because it seemed easier to me. I know you had to get your witch's license, but the idea of having a magic finger and then just sort of zapping things seemed more convenient than having to rely on a wand and things like that. At 9, I've got Ally McBeal, which you kind of have to watch to understand. It's a show that Mum suggested I watch when I was at uni. At uni, I like to get box sets and just work my way through them. So Ally McBeal helped me out in that regard. I've put it in my top 10. I was a bit iffy about it because I haven't actually watched the last season because everything I heard about it was just bad. But I shall buy the season 5 DVD and I shall watch it and hopefully enjoy it. But seasons 1 to 4 are cracking. Number 8, I've put Brideshead Revisited. I thought I'd put something a bit mature in. This is something else that I got into at university. I really enjoyed watching it. It's just great classic British drama. Actually, my first trip to visit Sophie, we went to Castle Howard, which plays Brideshead in the TV show. So here's a picture now. 7, Queer as Folk. I was obsessed with that at the beginning of the year. It was ridiculous. I really enjoyed the story. It was like a whole new world opened up to me I didn't know about. The music is fun. I enjoyed getting a whole load of the music, and I have a crazy playlist now for Queer as Folk. 6, Game of Thrones, which I haven't rewatched or anything. I'm taking the fact that you want to watch the next episode, and it inspired me to read the books as well. So it'll be interesting now, because this season I'll actually know everything that's coming up. You know, I know all the secrets and things. So it's exciting in a different way. And now I'm craving the next book as well, because I need to find out whether what I think happens, because if what I think happened, I'm really upset about it. At 5, I've got Brothers and Sisters, which is a really great TV show. I don't know whether Rachel and Sophie, you will have watched it. It's about 5 siblings, 3 brothers and 2 sisters, and at the very beginning their father dies, and then they discover this whole secret life basically that their father's been having. He had a mistress and he was doing dodgy dealings in the family business, but I really love the show. They're the kind of family that I feel like my family is, where it's constant communications all the time, how they treat each other, the sibling rivalry. Obviously it doesn't work so well, the comparison, since it's only me and Abby. But it's a really, really great show. It's warming inside. It's really lovely. I would definitely recommend it. 4 is Big Bang Theory. This is something that I got into during revision time in uni. Lots of TV was watched at uni. It's hilarious. It keeps getting funnier to me, and I rewatch it again and again. Mum is quite a fan, so it's always on between 6 and 7. So there are certain episodes that I've watched to death, and they're still funny. It's still great. I love Leonard and Penny, and Sheldon is just hilarious. Gilmore Girls is number 3. This I also got into at university, and I love this show. It's about a mother and a daughter and their life together, and they're growing up in different ways, and in a really small town in America. It's such sort of like comfort food. I really, really love the mother-daughter relationship in it. And I also love the main girl, Rory. I feel there's a blip where she has a rebellious stage, and I've still not yet had mine. But I feel like I am very much like Rory. And I enjoy watching it so much. I so recommend it if you haven't watched it. It's fantastic. Number 2 is Buffy. This show I got into pre-university, hooray! One of my best friends at school was really into it, so I started watching it. I remember watching the last episode of season 5 when something dramatic happens. It means that I started watching it all back to front. I watched season 6, season 7, and then I went all the way back with a little help from my friend. Love Joss Whedon. I think everything that he does is hilarious, even though it is serious drama and can be scary and creepy at times. The friendship and the language in it is really fun, and it's got sexy vampires in and great monsters, great dialogue. It's a lot of fun. The greatest show of all times, in my opinion, is Friends. I don't really know where to start with it. I've been watching it since I was about 7. I used to go to one of my friends and she had basically every single video of it, and it was so much fun to just sit there and watch TV. And it makes me feel scarily old when I think it started in 94, I think. Yeah, so that means that it's nearly 20 years old. Or come May next year, it's been 10 years since it's finished, which is just crazy to me because I remember it finishing so well. And, you know, in those days, it was harder to come by spoilers and things, but I remember the day after it showed, I had to look it up because I needed to know how it finished. And I love Ross and Rachel. I love that relationship. I love Ross. He is my perfect man, I have to say. He's not my type looks-wise, but he's just, he's perfection. And I love Monica. I love how neurotic she is and obsessive, and I really identify with that. Chandler is basically Abby. You know, it's just the greatest show ever, and that's really what I wanted growing up, you know, to grow up and live around all your friends and, so chilled out. There are certain episodes that I've watched hundreds of times, certain episodes I've watched less. I'm sort of very picky, and I watch ones that I love. And with Ross and Rachel, for example, I don't really know much of, well, I've watched them all, but I don't know very well, say, the Ross and Emily episodes, but the one with the prom video, I know basically word for word. I think it's really funny, and I think actually it has stood the test of time. Yes, it seems dated looks wise, you know, the clothes, clearly that, you know, when they're in the 90s, it looks like it's the 90s, but I think the humour remains current, and I think that's really the sign of an amazing show. So yeah, they're my top 10 shows. I'm really interested to see what you've got and what you guys pick. It's really hard, isn't it, given how much TV that we watch? But I would say of those shows that I mentioned, the ones that I really do watch all the time are Friends, Buffy, Gilmore Girls, and Big Bang Theory. The others, you know, are there and I can dip back into them, but there are 4 that, you know, if I'm having a bad day, I'll watch an episode from season 3 of Gilmore Girls. I think that's how you know, really, when it's a show that you truly, truly love, when you have the seasons that you go to and your go-to episodes. Anyway, I'll see you all next week. Bye!